Okay, my camera apparently only gives me a certain amount of time to record. That's cool. At least it's letting me record more, so I guess I'm making a part 2 now of updating how my life is going. As I was saying, my cat died. She was, as I said, my only friend. Honestly, I loved her. My family was in the process of moving, and we had a cat that was preggers, and she had our kittens when we were moving some stuff. So we came back the next day to the home to get more things, and there she was with her kittens. She had a litter of 5, and sadly one of them passed. And that was probably because they were stuck. And I don't know, maybe there were some more complications, maybe they had deformities inwardly that we couldn't see that was going on, but it was very clear there was something wrong, though. I mean, a reason why this kitten did not make it through the birthing process. In short, they were fucking huge. They were double the size of what you expect a baby kitten to be when they're newly born. This was a very big kitten. I'm like, we could not believe what we were seeing. Though my parents did take the little kitten and, buried it, in the proper way you do. And, as we watched the kittens grow, this was something I was already accustomed to. I'd already helped cats birth their kittens a lot of times. So the whole idea of helping a kitten grow and this was nothing new to me, honestly. But Babushka, as she started developing, this was hard. I had a special bond with her. There was just something about her that I loved when I saw her. And she, so it's hard, when this kitty is literally my fur baby, because I've watched her grow and her personality develop and took care of her. She was my spoiled little brat, and I loved her. It was hard, having this kitten that could literally fit in the palm of my hand. Growing up and turning into this little playful thing that loved to play fetch. She loved playing fetch. She had a purple jingly ball, and that was her favorite toy. She wanted me to throw it. She'd run and catch it and bring it back to me. She also liked sleeping under the covers. I'm pretty sure these kittens they thought they were human. They did not know they were cats. She sees us sleeping on the covers, she's like, well, I want to do that too. So she would sleep under the covers. She would also crawl in my shirt and sleep there, and she loved the heat. I mean, she loved the heat. I'm not even sure why. I like the heat too, but not to the extent she did. I mean, she would crawl up into my shirt and then lie down, and I'm like sitting here like, oh god, it's hot. And she's just sitting there purring, all content, and I'm like, how? How are you comfy, kitty? How? And eventually she got bigger, so she couldn't fit in there anymore. So she just resorted to sleeping under the covers again. Or, sleeping on top of my head. This is where she would lie, right here on top of my eyes. I'd wake up and my face would just be full of fur. And at that point I was used to it, honestly. It didn't really scare me. I didn't wake up thinking, I'm blind! What's on me? That was just her sleeping spot. And I woke up enough times with it that just, yeah. But she was 14 now, and she'd reached a stage. And I think we both knew she was going. There's just this feeling, just this knowing. And at first, her legs were giving out. Her especially her back legs. Just, it was literally out of nowhere. My poor baby just, she's walking one moment and the next she just couldn't walk. That was hard. That was very fucking hard. And then the next day she was walking again. And then the next day she just couldn't walk again. It was just out of the blue. And I could see her, at first she was fighting it. She did not want to admit she couldn't walk. She kept insisting she could get in her litter box and just kept insisting to get in there. But at some point, I think she just accepted she can't walk anymore, and she just trusted and knew I'd take care of her as I always did. I think that's what she was a little worried about at first, because she didn't have so much control of her bowels. And I think she was just a little worried of getting in trouble for peeing on the carpet. And she didn't get in trouble at all, ever. And sorry, that was my new cat. She just scared the shit out of me. I'll get to that point. I'm talking about my new cat. Oi, you just scared me, kitty. What, you jump, baby? I don't know, but, she just, after enough times of her peeing herself and not having control over this, I think she realized she's not going to be in trouble for this. I know that she can't control this. So I got her a nice kitty bed and, got a plastic bag, put it over the kitty bed so that when she did urinate, it wouldn't get into the bed and she wouldn't be sleeping in her own urine. And then I would put a blanket on top of the bag so she's not sleeping on a bag. I want her comfortable. So there's this whole process I had come accustomed to taking care of her every day for those few months left she had. I did look into euthanization at first, because it seemed like at first she kept losing memory. She didn't know who I was at first, and that became hard. But it eventually she just, that's what bothered me. I didn't want her to suffer like that, and that's why I looked into euthanization, because I didn't want her to die not knowing who I was. I wanted it to be planned, so it was in a moment she knew who I was, so she'd feel safe, rather than living not knowing who I was and just scared that there's this giant creature. She didn't know who I was. All she knew was I was this big giant creature, and she didn't know. She got her claws at me once. Kind of got a little bit of a scar from it. So now when I see the scar, it's a little, it's bittersweet. It hurts because I know why it's there. But it's the only mark I have left of my baby now. Okay, sorry, sucking it up for a second. I don't like people seeing me cry. That's still very hard for me. Especially with my upbringing, so crying in front of people is something I still am learning to get past. Thankfully there's a few people I know I can trust. Oh, God. But, that didn't last long, and eventually she stopped having those moments. And, that's where it's like, you're showing me you have the will to live, baby. Then that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take care of you. And I don't fucking care how hard it is on me. All I care about is making sure these last days are easy on you. That's all that was important to me, was her. And, oh god. You know, another thing I would do is because you couldn't predict her bowel movements. I couldn't. I did make sure to take care of her, though. I learned to put a paper towel there at her bum, because that way something was there to catch it when I couldn't be at constantly 24. Oh, it was goddamn 24/7 care. But, kind of like how you can look away from a toddler for 2 seconds and shit can happen. It's the same with your cat. When she can't control her own bowel movements, you can't predict when she's going to make a bowel movement. So I did everything I could to make sure she was clean and taken care of. Cleaning her up. And putting a paper towel there really helped. That way it didn't, get all over her blanket, and then, I just didn't want her lying in her own mess, and it made the cleanup a lot easier. It made it a lot easier to keep it clean on her. And I was very consistent on changing the plastic bag and the blanket to make sure she was in a clean spot. Occasionally, though, I did change from blanket to a towel and a hoodie, because there was a hoodie I had, and she particularly liked the hoodie because it was one I wore often, so it had my scent all up in there, and so it gave her some sort of a comfort. The towel, I don't know why she liked the towel, but she really loved the beach towel I had. It was a donut. It was round, and it was a donut with a bite in it, and that was her favorite. She liked that towel. But, some days I had to go make sure to get the towel and the hoodie clean. So she did have to lie on blankets as well consistently, but the towel and the hoodie were her favorites. And I remember the last photo I took of her. And I posted it on a cat group that I'm in because she loves attention, okay? And I knew she was in her last days, and I just wanted to make sure she got all the attention she wanted. And there were people that had commented and said she was beautiful and everything. I guess she got all the attention she wanted, because the very next day was her last day. It was night. I was about to go to bed, and she just started meowing at me, looked up at me, and consistently meowed. And I knew what she was saying. So I got down on the floor on my knees and knelt down to my cat. Told her I loved her, and she was the best thing I ever had in the world. The best thing that I ever had in this world that ever happened to me. And then she stopped breathing. Okay, this one was easier to get my shit together. Just one little sigh of breath. Sometimes that helps. Other times I have to let out a little cry. But yeah, that was hard. And that's why the neighbors down the street that had me walk their dogs helped me so much, because I had somewhere to go, and I was doing good for them by cleaning and doing the dishes and whatnot, and they were doing good just for giving me a place to feel a little bit more sanity. And now I was able to go down there now that my cat had passed. And I was told by my family, don't worry, we'll pay for her cremation. Fuck, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. I'm sorry. A little emotional right now. You know what I'm probably trying to say. So, but yeah, and that was before Babushka passed. Yeah. And after she passed, all of a sudden, they're not going to do that. So I had to take some of the money, which I forgot to mention, by the way, the money that I was stashing away. I had to keep hiding it because they were stealing it. I eventually found a spot that they couldn't find. I'm like, thank God. And no, I will not be revealing my spot. I'm gonna keep that fucking thing secret to the grave. I've only revealed it to one person because they were having trouble with their parents too and need to get the fuck out. I'm like, hide your money here. They won't look there. Mine didn't look there. I'm like, but it looks like you need this information, so this is the only reason I'm giving it to you. Anybody else, though, I'm literally just gonna take it to the grave. I'm not ever gonna fucking reveal where I hid my money, because nobody can find it, and I'd like to keep it that way. But yeah. I had to take that money and pay for my cat's cremation because there was no way I was gonna go without her. You know, she was my baby. She's going with me wherever I go. She's going with me. And then when we got there, you know, we called the cremation business to inform them we were coming over. I wanted to be alone when I took her inside because I wanted the goodbyes to be genuine, and I didn't want my mom to make it all about her because goddammit, I knew she would fucking do that. And it's so inappropriate and it's so wrong and really was not the fucking time. That moment was between me and my cat. And that's how I wanted it and how I kept it. I broke down crying. Really bad cry. I just cried over her body. I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave her. But I had to. Yeah, I got her a black urn because she was a black cat. She was a beautiful Bombay. I have her in my windowsill now because that's where she liked being. She liked the sun. She liked to stay in the sun. She was not an outside cat. She was terrified of that, but you know, she did like to sit in the sun in the window. So that's where I have her. And I have her little, I don't know, that bear is it's kind of purple but blue at the same time. Yeah, and a little McDonald's Barbie doll toy that its hair went bald. And she was kind of bald. So I have that over there too. You know, it's a beautiful bald Barbie doll for a beautiful bald kitty. That happened at some point in her life. She wasn't always bald, but she did end up because of a condition, which thankfully I was figured out how to manage. But before it did, she made her bottom half of her body bald, so she had a lot of big bald spot. I'm thirsty. I'm gonna grab the water.